What up, what up, what up, and welcome to another episode of the Drop Spot Talk Show. This time we are in person here in Fort Worth, Texas for a very special episode here at the FNCS Global Championship. If you're watching in the arena or at home, we welcome you because we have a lot going on here behind the scenes in preparation for, of course, this amazing event.
Yeah, I mean, the Global Championships for 2024. We have been talking about this all year throughout Major 1, throughout Major 2, throughout Major 3, and that is, of course, for a good reason. The vibes at these type of events, they're always unmatched, and, of course, the competition alone. But, yeah, it just always brings such special opportunities when we're actually all able to join in one area, such as this episode. I mean, Takata, we are literally in front of the freaking practice area right now. We're seeing the players walk around and meet each other, everything like that. It's awesome.
It's unmatched vibes. I mean, I almost just got hit by like a ping pong ball, right? There's 100 PCs where players can scrim, they can warm up, they can practice, but most of them are spending time here playing ice hockey, playing ping pong, getting to see each other in person, right? It's that in-person experience that these players don't get too often. So I love to see it finally happen once again.
Yeah, it's not only that. It's not just a celebration for what's happening here in person at this live event. It is also you guys at home. Let's not forget the Champions Road has been taking place where there are outfits, prizing, and all types of extra goodies for you guys as well to go ahead and claim and earn. And I think a player just threw a ball over here. We're serious about this one. You guys can have that one back. We also have, of course, players to look out for. Vivid, what are you? I'm sure you're not the ping pong stars, right?
Yeah, listen, coming from NA, you know, there's been huge talk around Peterbot and Pollo for the entirety of the year, and for good reason. I mean, they are performing absolutely incredibly, and everybody's got this question around them, right? Will they be able to continue that success coming into the Global Championship? And might as well just talk about it instantly, right? Are they going to be able to overcome the fact that they are contested by 3 other teams, 4 total teams at the raft? But I'm seeing there's a little bit of talk. Maybe they're going to get a whole section to themselves, kind of get some of the respect that maybe they think they deserve. I don't know. It's going to be something that we need to keep our eye on.
I mean, the dominance that Peterbot and Pollo showed in the qualifiers, they're deserving of their own spot, right? But being contested by 3 of the best duos in the world for a total of 4 duos at the drop spot, it's not going to be easy. But, you know, each duo did qualify with their own meta, their own game plans, and now it's a new season, new strategies, so we'll have to see how it plays out. But look, I know you're a fan of NA. I'm a fan of Brazil. King and FaZe are my boys. Look, they had a bit of trouble throughout the qualifiers. They went to Europe instead of playing on their home region. It didn't quite go their way. They didn't get their global spot from EU, but when they went back home to Brazil, they ended up qualifying. But now, once again, on an international stage, you know, I think they can do it.
Well, you know what? What's amazing about this is, of course, that we have all of this international competition gathering here in person, of course. We've seen players decide to pick up ship, take it to another region, try to practice and qualify there, some of the Brazilian ones in specific, but also there is a lot of contested drops happening here in person. Well, tension is high, and with that, we have a very special interview coming right up.
I'm here at Trashy's. We are in the player lounge. Look, before I kick things off, Trashy's, let me hear it. How does it feel to finally be back in person? Kind of nervous. How you feeling?
It's electric.
Electric.
This place is crazy.
I love to hear it. Look, Trashy's, you're playing with threats now, but there was a lot of changes with your duos. I think you played with Skittles a little bit. You played with Muzz. Can you tell me a bit about kind of how those changes happened and how you landed with threats?
Yeah, you know, Threats was a really good player. I know he played with Epicwell before, and he's just like a all-around crazy player, well-rounded, crazy surge aim, crazy aim in general. You know, that's one of the main reasons I picked him up, and we've been doing well so far. So.
Okay, I love to hear it. Look, you talked about crazy aim, you talked about surge, but how important do you think that's going to be with your drop spot, right? Because you're landing at the raft. There's another 4 duos dropping there, each from their own region. You got Peterbot, Pollo around there. Tell me a bit about it.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be hard. You know, if there's a lot of teams going there, it's definitely harder to rotate, harder to get surge, harder to just play the game.
Okay, have you had a chance to kind of like scrim against some of these players and kind of practice being contested at that drop spot?
Yeah, I've been conned by Peterbot Pollo like every single scrim session.
How's it been going? Like 1-0, 5-0, 3-2? What's it looking like?
We haven't really been fighting because they go forecast all the time, so they're out instantly.
Okay, so you think it's going to be more kind of a battle between the other 3 duos, including yourself, and not as much as Peterbot Pollo? Or do you think there's a risk that they kind of third party if they see that early game engagement?
Yeah, I think we're gonna fight Swizzy and Yapko because they're landing on our side, and if Peterbot cleans us up, then we'll see what happens the next couple of games.
Gotta adapt, right? Look,
Yeah.
you talked about Swizzy Yapko, so you're gonna be competing against some EU teams. Have you had a chance to kind of scrim against some of the EU players?
Not really, no. I actually had Yapko living with me when he came to NA.
Oh.
So yeah, but I mean, it's how the game goes, you know. You can't really.
Friendly fire,
Yeah,
friendly
a little
fire.
bit, yeah.
Look, that's sick though. Seeing that you're gonna be going up against these players, I want to know what's kind of a bit of like the mid-game strategy if you do end up getting off spawn. Are you gonna be playing it a bit more safe, or do you have kind of any plans with the current meta right now?
We're definitely just gonna try to get as much surge as possible and get cap mats and try to play to the best of our ability.
That's what I love to hear. Look, I want to know from yourself too, incredibly experienced in the Fortnite realm. There's a lot of different regions now competing against each other, seeing that it's the global championship. I want to know a bit about how you think kind of these other regions perform. Do you think it's the same as NA? Do you think EU playstyle might be a little different?
I think EU is a little bit more aggressive, but NA last season I think was harder than EU. Or maybe even, I think it was a little bit harder because a lot of the EU teams came over. But I think NA is going to win.
Okay.
For sure, yeah.
Okay, I'd love that. We had Invitational, Cami, and Seti, but then in the Global Championships, Cooper, Mero took it home. So we have NA taking home one, EU taking home another. You think it's going to be NA again?
Yeah, I do. Either that or Cami Seti. Those guys are pretty good.
Back-to-back in-person events. Well, not back-to-back, but that'd be kind of crazy. That'd be insane. Look, you talked about some of the big names. If you had to kind of say an underdog maybe that you think could take home this current global championship, who do you think it would be?
It's kind of a dark night. It's kind of not. I would say Batman, Booga, and Rapid.
Ooh.
Their spot is crazy. Grimgate, it's crazy.
If you're talking about best POIs of the current chapter right now, including seeing the kind of, well, actually, you know what? If you didn't have to think about any contestation, not including the raft, what do you think are the top 3 POIs?
I would definitely say Castle Doom, Grimgate, Grim, and then I don't know, maybe Snooty.
Okay. A lot of loot, a lot of chests kind of thing.
Clix and Veno, yeah, they're going to do well.
That's going to be interesting. What do you think about some of these duos that are kind of mixing up regions? You know, like we had Clix, which has always been on NA, and then you have Veno coming over from EU playing together. Do you think this is kind of like maybe a bit of the future of comp, seeing these mixes?
Yeah, for sure. We saw it a lot last season with the NA Central combination with EU. I think Clix and Veno are really good players. They're really good fundamentally, so I think they'll do really, really well.
I love it. And look, I've got one last question for you. You and your duo partner are waiting for that FNCS title. Is this the tournament you're going to get it?
Hopefully. You know, hopes aren't the highest because we're so con, but you know, I'm still positive. I'm keeping my.
You're praying. Look, I want more of that confidence, Threats.
Yeah.
You're gonna get in. You're gonna take out Peterbot Pollo. Even though they're going forecast, take out the other 3 duos. I mean, starting off with those elims could be great. But thank you so much. I really appreciate it, and good luck in your matches.
Thank you.
Nothing says global like a multi-regional clash for the most dominant draw spot of the region. Takata, you got to catch up with Trashy. If you ask me, I'm feeling like there was a little bit of uncertainty there.
Yeah, you'd say uncertainty, but it's not the uncertainty you would expect, right? I'd be thinking Peterbot Pollo based on their qualification to globals, how dominant they were, but actually they're going forecast tower. They don't even have to worry about them at that initial engagement. It's the other 2 duos, each from their own region, that they have to worry about. But the issue is, even if they end up taking out those 2 duos, Peterbot Pollo, they're going to look at the feed, they're going to say, oh, this is a free third party, free tag, so they're definitely going to have to be careful.
A little bit of uncertainty, a little bit of nerves coming out of that conversation leaves me definitely worried for them, right? Because we have potentially the most confident player in Fortnite history landing there, and you're telling me you're going into that job spot a little bit uncertain? I'm going to be a little bit worried. But a big thing, of course, with these events is going to be those nerves, and experience plays a big part in that, of course. Let's go ahead and have a conversation with 2 players out of the Asian region. Job, never been to an event like this before. Zagu, been to these multiple times. Let's go ahead and check out what they have to say. We're going to be joined with Job and Zagu. And listen, Job and Zagu, both of them being qualified players for this, and Job's going to be very, very helpful throughout this conversation right now. opting and volunteering to go ahead and actually be a translator for this one. Thank you so much, Job.
Yep, no problem.
Thank you so much for joining us as well. And I guess to kind of tee things off very, very fast here, making it to the Global Championships, why don't you tell everybody how you actually qualified for this event?
どうやってださっきと同じですね。どうやって世界大会。
まあ、メジャー1で、FNCS の、今年の最初の FNCS で、1位を取ってクリファイしました。
So what Zach answered is, so on the very first FNCS on 2024, I got first place on Major 1 and I qualified for Globals.
Okay, so you've been qualified for the entirety of the year, so you've been able to prepare a lot longer than maybe some of the rest of the players. Do you feel like that's an advantage for you?
メジャー1の最初に決まって、一番、世界大会に向けて練習できる時間があったと思うけど、なんだろう、自信とか練習とか今の感情というか。
まあそうですね、いろいろ、立ち回りとかは考えてきたけど、うまくいくかわかんないですけど、それは試合始まってからだと思います。
Okay, so he'd been preparing for like basically a whole year because he qualified on a major 1, but he thought about like a lot of plans and stuff, but you know, we don't. He said he doesn't even know if plan's gonna work well. I mean, he will just see it in the match.
And you made a huge name for yourself, honestly, by coming onto the international stage. You've been here before. Obviously, Global Championships, another opportunity for you to place very, very well. How do you kind of make through those motions, right? That experience that you've had at other events coming into this one, where would you be happy with placing, or where are you kind of aiming for?
世界大会今までいろんなの通ってきて、またもう一回自分の名前を売るチャンスだけど、前の世界大会から今回の世界大会に向けて、今どういう感情っていうかなんかその今年、昨年に比べて今年の意気込みとか。
去年はエピックのせいで檻が破壊されたりしたけど、今年は大丈夫そうなので、1位目指して頑張ります。
Okay, so on the last year Copenhagen Global Championship, sadly before the Global Championship, his where he landing got a bit destroyed, and it was kind of difficult for him. But for this year, I think he's landing Castle of Doom, and it seems the POI is quite chilling, and then he's aiming for first place.
Okay, there you go. So tell us a little bit about your POI and what do you think the advantages are of landing there? Are you going to be contested, uncontested? What are your expectations coming into the competition?
初動被ってるか被ってないかと、その今の降り場所の評価とか、今の降り場所はどんな感じみたいな、立ち回りやすいとかぶつかるとか、評価みたいな。まず最初に被ってるか被ってないか。
初動は被ってるけど、平和に、初動は平和に行きたいのと、あと何やっけ？
あと物資の量とか、その降り場所に対する。
降り場所については、いいとも言われんけど、悪いとも言えないぐらい。
So basically, he's contested, and his drops are on the bottom side of the Doom Castle, and I said his landing spot is like, it's not like really good as well, but at the same time, it's not like really bad as well. So that's how.
Obviously, you've had probably an incredible travel day, right? Kind of flying all the way across the world. You think that travel day or maybe like a little bit of jet lag affects your competition or how you're going to play on day of? Or do you think that getting here early enough, do you think that you got here early enough to kind of adjust to the time zone and adjust to how everything is over here?
なんかフライトとかめっちゃ長かったけど、その代わり他のみんなよりもちょっと早めに会場に着いたりとかもしてたけど、今の気持ちっていうか、パフォーマンスで、今の状態的にはどうみたいな、フライトも含めて、ちょっとフライトの感想もあった方がいいかも。
フライトに関しては、アメリカから日本なんで、去年とかよりも短くて楽で、みんなより先に練習できるのはいいことかなと思います。
So comparing to the last year global from Japan to Copenhagen to Japan and Texas, like a lot more shorter, and being able to practice like early on comparing to other region pros will be, able to fit in like how would I say it will be a good thing because he can prepare like a lot more faster compared to other players. So yeah, he's looking forward for it.
Okay. Obviously, this is going to be a duos competition. We have you here, unfortunately not your duo. So why don't you tell us a little bit about the duo dynamic, how that kind of works between you two, and why you think that's going to help you guys throughout the competition this weekend?
まあなんか今シェロンとデュオだけど、まあそのシェロンとのデュオの相性とか、まあなんか何がお前らのデュオ全体で、まあなんか何がなんて言うんだろう、ずば抜けてるとか何がもなんて言うんだろう持ち味みたいな。
まあどうやろう、安定感、デュオとしての安定して順位取る能力が割と高いと思います。
So his duo is Shalom, and he said Zagu, like him and Shalom, is like a really consistent duo. That what he said is they're really good at you know, getting like a lot of placement points, staying consistent, sorry, and yeah, that's the good point about the duo, I think.
Okay, sweet. Zagu, thank you so much for joining us. Let's give you an opportunity to go ahead and send a message out to your fans, anybody watching.
まあなんか、まあ自分のファンとか見て
日本語で、はい。ということで、応援してくれる皆さんありがとうございます。まあ今回の世界大会も頑張って1位目指すんで応援よろしくお願いします。
So firstly, thank you for like all the supporters that's been supporting like every time, and yeah, we're aiming for first place and we're trying our best. So yeah, please support us.
Awesome. Thank you, Ja, for jumping in to go ahead and translate. And thank you to Zagu for jumping on for the conversation. Going to be jumping in with a job here. Very, very busy this weekend, actually. Willing to jump on with us, go ahead and translate, have a conversation with me. And then, of course, most important, actually compete for the global championship job. How are you feeling coming into the weekend?
Yeah, I'm feeling really good. You know, the stage, like practice room and everything is really nice. And yeah, I'm looking forward for the main stage.
Okay, sweet. Why don't you go ahead and tell everybody, if you know, whatever you want to go ahead and reveal to the world. What's your plan coming into the weekend, right? Like drop spot, mid game, end game. What's that looking like?
You know, obviously me and Dio are like talking about like a lot of plans, like mid games, all spawn, end games, and everything. But you know, it's a secret.
Okay, so it's a little bit of a secret. Got some things hidden up your sleeve. We were actually talking a little bit earlier, and you said this is going to be your first in-person event. Does that kind of affect the mental at all? Are you a little bit nervous?
So I don't really have a feeling called nervous, but to be honest, I quite feel like excited pretty much because you know it's my first time LAN, and it's really like pleasure meeting other Asia players, like other region players, and yeah, I'm kind of excited for it.
So we got to catch up with the Asian region. Zagu and Job, of course, being some of the favorites. We all remember Zagu's accolades there back in the day. So what'd you think, Vivid?
Awesome getting the opportunity to interview both of them. But I got to give a big shout out to Job, right? Kind of coming into his first in-person event and mentioning that the nerves were not really hitting them just yet. So I think that's going to be huge actually going into the weekend.
Look, I got to wait to believe him, though, because I feel like those nerves really hit you when you're on the stage. The players doing the walkouts. You see the Titans, the veterans being called out one by one, lights shining down on your desk. It can definitely cause a bit of pressure, but nerves aren't the only thing to worry about.
No, definitely. There's a lot going on. And with that, we had to catch up with one of the most talked about players on the region just recently. It was with Quanti.
So the other day, I think, I was like a week ago, I think, I was watching VODs with Queasy, you know, on like EU scrims. You know what I'm saying? And they were uncon Mount Olympus, the whole thing. North and south, everything. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not there. You know what I'm saying? Uncon everything. And their average placement was like 47th in that session. Like, so I don't know, man. Like, I mean, it just makes me think like they're gonna try to fight me because Surge is gonna be their problem. You know what I'm saying? If they're dying so much, getting like 47th in the session, like 3 sessions in a row. They have the most sessions played, by the way, too. There's like a statistic on that. And their average place is like 37th. I mean, come on. I mean, I don't even know. Like, if they're gonna fight me for it, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not scared of Brazil, bro. Come on.
Well, it sounds like Quanti's trying to line up some free surge tags and possibly some eliminations early on. We'll just have to see. Well, listen, Quanti, thanks for joining us here on the Drop Spot Talk Show, and best of luck.
Thank you.
And as you can see, one of the most talked about players in the region for a reason, Quanti had a lot to say.
Yeah, I mean, listen, at the end of the day, obviously a little bit of drama coming into the global championships. At the end of the day, I hope that they can kind of just like lock in, right? And kind of take full advantage of the opportunity kind of presented to them this weekend.
Yeah, I mean, contested by another Brazil duo, playing with a Brazil duo, it's going to be kind of bold of them to do it. But speaking about bold predictions, Vivid, I know you called out one of the fan favorite duos going into the global championships.
Going to be jumping in with 2 of the most well-known players when it comes to Fortnite competitive. We've got Clix, we've got Veno, the duo that a lot of people have their eyes on. How you guys feeling?
Feeling good. Feeling good.
I'm excited for the LAN. I can't wait to play. I'd prefer it to be today, to be honest.
Oh.
Yeah, we're ready. We just want to get into it. Just get it done.
Okay. And listen, obviously, you know, there's some hot stuff during major number 3, right? Like I joined the hater. I joined the hater crew, right?
did.
Like I said that you guys were not going to qualify to globals. I kind of got to tap into that a little bit, right? Like not just me in general, but the haters in general, right? Like how does it feel to kind of shut everybody up, myself included, and everybody else?
I mean, you know, for his whole career as well as mine, from the start, everyone always says you're going to do bad. And then when you're on the stage and you do good, they have like nothing to hate about. You know, you're killing on social media, you're killing in comp. So they really got nothing else to say. So I got a question for you, Vivid. What is your like thought process when you said we're not going to qualify for globals? Because that's top 14. Like, that's a crazy take.
Yeah, honestly, my take on that was I thought that, you know, you guys not being prioritized for some of the slurp cacti, I didn't think you guys were going to be doing too well, right? Like I know you guys jumped into the Cash Cup. I saw the performance, wasn't feeling too confident. And then the change kind of came in, right?
Yeah.
Which I think helped you guys out a little
The
bit.
cacti change, you're saying.
Yeah, and then, you guys qualified. Shut me up real fast.
That's true.
I'm not bothered about any cash cups or anything like that. Those are practice for the real
Okay.
games. I was actually speaking to him about it just a second ago, where I said to him, I don't care how bad my teammate plays in a cash cup, whether that's me or him. What matters is how you're feeling on game day. I'll drop my teammate if he milks my grands. But if he milks cash ups, I don't care. It's practice at the end of the day. That's what scrims for. That's what cash ups for. Scrims are for trying stuff out, and then cash cup is actually putting it into fruition and putting it onto a real stage and trying those things out and seeing what happens. Because that's what that cash cup was. That cash cup was purely just us trying whatever came to our mind, seeing what works.
Yep.
Because we can't bring those situations to real life. Well, real life in the game.
Yeah.
In scrims like we can do in a cash cup.
I mean, they were all hating. After that cash cup that you're talking about, my whole comm was
100%.
Tell me to drop Veno. Like, who says that? Like, tell me to drop Veno is. You got to be crazy to say that.
Well, obviously, you guys shut everybody else up, right? Qualified to the Global Championships. Now let's actually talk about globals, right? That was all in the past. For this event specifically, how have you guys been preparing? Because there honestly haven't been many cash cups or anything to kind of put in some of that practice. So what's the regimen kind of look like for you guys?
Well, we had one cash cup to really try things out, and obviously you don't want to give too many strats away. You know, we're trying to keep things hidden. You know, we're not streaming as much. I feel well prepared up to this point, but because there's not been, you know, cash ups, stuff like that, there's not really, we don't really know what's going on.
Okay.
You know, we don't know how certain teams are going to play, and it's something we're going to have to learn on game day or something we're going to have to theorize. That's what I feel like Fortnite's all about, just theory crafting, and that's what I love about the game personally. I don't play this game for money, I play this game for competitiveness and trying to theory craft and trying to outsmart your opponents. Essentially you're playing medieval, okay, this may be a wild take, but you're playing medieval times of war and simulating it in a game. I'm trying to figure out what my opponents are going to do and how I have to outsmart them and how I have to eliminate them from the competition.
Okay, so I'm actually
Great
gonna
take.
I'm gonna kind of lean it into like the format, right? Day 1 is just normal points, right? Day 2 is kind of 1.5x points. Do you feel like that kind of plays into that strategy of you taking day 1 to maybe learn, and then day 2 you can kind of come in, get more points, and consistently plays because then you know what everybody else is doing?
I'm not really the biggest fan of, you know,
Really?
1.5x because day 1 really shows how well you've prepared.
Yeah.
Okay.
After day 1, everyone understands how to play. Most grands finals, people have played, especially like I've played, that you may not know exactly what to do day 1, but day 2 you kind of figure out how to play. I think every grand finals I've ever played is that I have less points on day 2.
Okay.
Because people start to catch up to our strategies.
Yep.
I feel like I really have to innovate myself for 6 games, really.
Okay.
Those last 6 are then trying to push, and we really have less than a day to figure out, okay, this person's doing X, Y, and Z. How are we going to outplay that?
Okay.
I mean, you saw what happened. Last 3 games were first place. Pew, pew, pew. Vending machine gone. You know, it's
Hands up, caught.
all good.
Obviously, you guys are 2 of the biggest known players in the world, right? So when it comes to playing those first 6 games, do you feel like you guys have more eyes on you and more players will actually look at you guys specifically rather than other players, and that's why it kind of maybe affects that strategy that you kind of come in on day number 1?
Yeah, I was talking to Veno about that, about being like me streaming every
Right.
single season. He had a crazy take in a private call where he was like, the reason we actually didn't win was because of me streaming the whole
Okay.
entire scrims and all that. And like at first I was like, shut up, dude. Like, but as you really like understand it, it's like there's a reason Peterbot's killing it. There's a reason he won 2
Yeah.
by six wins out of 12. It's because nobody knows your strategy going into grands. They don't see your scrims. They don't understand any of that. But as in me, when we have 15,000 people watching every single day, seeing what we're doing, like there's pros watching too. And if we find something out, everyone find that out, you know?
Yeah.
But it definitely is a lot harder, for sure.
Yeah, because there's been many seasons where people keep things to themselves. We can look back at Swizzy and Vaniak's FNCS swim where people didn't know to play. I don't remember the item, but like the wing, I think it was called wings, where people didn't know how good they were.
Yeah.
And that's what the thing is about, like preparing for day one. Everyone knows you to use the day two.
Yeah.
That's the thing. So you want to get the most out of that day one. And it's where, like, I feel, streaming was definitely a part of us not winning. You know, of course, we were already at a disadvantage, you know, compared to other people's spots. We just wanted to qualify and try and play our hearts out. And then go into LAN feeling something, trying to get something good out of it and then look to next year. But streaming definitely plays a big part. But I feel like with eyes on us, I don't know. I think eyes are on a lot of the rest of the competition because, you know, people really want P-Bot to win. I feel like there's a lot of pressure on him. There's a lot of pressure on us to perform. But I've been predicted to win many grands. And there's grands I have won and grands I haven't. And there's no difference.
And that's what you're known for. One last thing here. Why don't you guys go ahead and talk about the decision to go ahead and actually not stream? Like, Clix, that's huge for you, right? Like, that's, I don't want to say that's your entire career, but that's a large portion of it, right? And deciding to not stream, I think you've gained a lot of respect from a lot of people in the Fortnite community because it's like, wow, he's willing to step back from that because he believes so much in this global championship run. Talk to us about that decision a little bit.
Yeah, I think it's definitely showing like my passion for competitive a lot more. But I mean, it's not me not streaming a whole season. It's more of like a week, right? So the parasocials and the comm get mad. They go crazy and just basically telling me that Veno's controlling my streaming career and all that. But it's the reality of it is we need to prep as much as we can and take this practice as serious as possible. So it sucks, but it's not going to be a whole season. You know, next grands that we play next season or whatever, FNCS is, I'm going to stream it, just not as much as practice as I did in the fourth performance.
I gotcha. And that has been Clix and Veno. Why don't you guys go ahead and give a big shout out to fans or shout out your socials, anything you guys wanted to say?
I don't really got too much to say other than I know there's a lot of Clixers in the crowd right now rooting for us, and hopefully you put on a show.
Sweet. Veno?
Appreciate y'all.
I appreciate you guys coming out to sports. I can't wait to take pictures, sign stuff. I hope we can do you guys all proud.
All right, so I'm joined here by Resigns and Damo, two of OCE's strongest players. You guys just qualified in coming out of the FNCS 3 major, and y'all have already kind of stated that you think you're going to have to land at the spot that you know.
So we qualified from Sandy Steps, and we wanted to switch to the drops. Like, we didn't want to con Clix and all, but now that we've thought more about it, like, we've got to do what's best for us. Do what we already know. We've been landing there this season, the rest of this season and last season, so I think we might have to land there for the globals and see how well we can do.
Yeah, that's kind of that's definitely intense. That's a lot to take on, right? We all know how strong of a player Clix and Veno have become kind of in the recent time. I mean, Damo, you were obviously expressing that there's a lot that you want to accomplish, of course, here as well.
Yeah, we want to prove that OC is not as bad as everyone thinks, and we want to put OC on the map and show that we can hang with the other regions and show that we have what it takes to do good on LAN.
And there you have it, OCE now coming in with some hot news.
Wow, and the way to go ahead and prove that OCE is not as bad as everybody thinks is going to be to land on Clix and Veno. But Takata, right, the confidence to actually say that before the competition this weekend, right, kind of putting that information out there, that's crazy.
It's crazy. It literally is crazy. Like, I was thinking of the word, but like doing it right before the event against one of the most hyped up duos going into the global championship, I don't even know what to expect from it.
Well, here we have an OCE team obviously looking to take on one of NA's best. We also have another OCE team possibly looking to take on an EU duo. Let's take a look at that one.
Alex, you had quite a long flight to get here. How are you feeling?
I'm feeling a bit jet lagged, but overall I'm feeling good, ready for the weekend.
Okay, jet lagged but good. I love to hear it. Look, you qualified Major 1. You've been playing with Worthy for a bit over a year now, like 4 majors together. But after qualifying, you went to NA. How was it playing when you're used to playing on OCE on now a different region? Was it more difficult? Was it what you expected?
Yeah, so I would say we went into it knowing it was going to be a bit more difficult, but I think we were definitely surprised. It was a lot more difficult than OCE for sure. But I think we kind of adapted pretty well. And I think I'll use a lot of this knowledge going into this weekend.
Okay, so you've got the experience on NA, but look, we're at the Global Championships now. There's players from Brazil, there's players from EU, from all over the world. Have you had a chance to kind of practice against all these other regions?
Short answer, no. I haven't really had a chance to practice against them, but I've played in Copenhagen, I've played in Raleigh, so I would say I kind of know what it's like.
You've got the in-person experience, but you have a little bit of a hurdle, maybe a big hurdle. You're going up against Merstash and Malabuka at the Restored Reels. Tell me a bit about that. How'd you end up on that drop spot? What made you want to contest them?
Yeah, so I would say it's a tiny hurdle. They're not that good, but yeah, we landed there in NA against Cease, but Cease didn't qualify for Grand, so we kind of learned the drop really well, I would say, in America. And then coming back to OC, we thought it was just like the best drop to land at, honestly, for like globals. But then in the new season, they added the Avengers chests, and I think that's what made our drop like a bit better because it's mid-map with Avengers chests. So I think that kind of got Malabuka kind of wanting to come, and yeah, so we'll be fighting them off spawn.
Okay, so it's got all the loot, it's got everything you need, it just has that tiny little hurdle. And you said you haven't had a chance to scrim against them at all?
No, we haven't.
Ooh, have you had a chance? So when you were playing against Cease and his duo partner, what was like the off-spawn situation against them? How was it going? Was it like 2-2, 5-0?
Okay, so, I mean, we played FNCS week 1, and it was 4-2 to them, which isn't great score, but yeah, I feel like we learned a lot more since then, so I'm more confident going into this for sure.
Okay, speaking about learning, look, you played in the Global Championships last year. You were 6th place in the upper bracket after day 1. Although in the next days, it didn't go quite your way. Can you tell me a bit about like what happened?
Yeah, so pretty much day 1, we were unconned our drop, and then in the grand finals, we were conned, and not much you can do. There.
It's difficult, but now the issue is you're con from day 1. So what have you done for preparation against Merstash Malabuka? Have you been looking at their VODs? Have you been what have you been doing?
I mean, I don't want to leak too much, but yeah, I would say we've done a lot of preparation going into this. So I'm very confident, to be honest. I'm very, very confident off spawn.
Confidence is key. Okay, and once you get off spawn, are there any other duos in the lobby you're maybe kind of scared of?
Honestly, no duos I'm scared of. You know, I've taken them all on at least once before at globals, so I'm definitely confident going into it. Anyone come my way, I'll hit him with a little full box 200.
Ooh, full box 200 is what you love to hear. The confidence from Alex is worthy. Well, thank you so much. I really appreciate you answering the questions, and best of luck.
Thanks, man.
Over the weekend.
Well, we're just gonna have to see what Malabuka and Merstash think after that one. Takata, clearly Alex has got his work cut out for him, but these OCE boys, man, stepping up.
And Alex, you could see the confidence from him as well. He is feeling good about the engagement. Look, he got 6th place last year at the Global Championship after day 1 in uppers. It went a bit downhill after that, but he's got that in-person event experience. And you know what? This might be the time to showcase what he's really made of.
One thing that I've continuously said about this, though, is they just continue to get more and more experience, and then kind of taking that jump to actually move regions during this year to actually gain further experience in these more stacked lobbies. I mean, eventually, all that's going to pay off.
Yeah, well, listen, it's every region in a global affair here that we have to keep an eye out for, including Middle East. It's Adapter and FKS. Now, here's the thing. I got to hear what you have to say for the folks in the Middle East.
فانت شو بدك تقول للعالم بالميدل ايست؟
بقول للعالم بالميدل ايست ان انتظرونا باذن الله، ان راح نبدع في البطوله وراح نرفع راس الميدل ايست ونشرفكم باذن الله.
So he basically said that he can't wait to show off for the people in the Middle East. He's excited to represent them, and he's going to show the people competing that they're going to be good.
Well, that's actually amazing. I love that you guys have a lot of history. Thank you so much, FKS and Adapter. We can't wait to see what you guys are going to bring to the table now. Representing for the Middle Eastern region, clearly the confidence is there. We can't wait.
Made our way around the globe, got some great insight into what the competition can look like this weekend. Gets me that much more excited.
A lot of teams contesting each other, a lot of teams whooping out new strategies that we haven't seen before. The players are all together, and you can sense the vibes.
And you know what's the best part about it is that we, of course, get to see new news being broke here, teams deciding to contest one another, information being revealed, and for the first time, opinions on duos being formed here. This is all happening this weekend now. The FNCS Global Championship starting soon.